All right, welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking one of the most sophisticated, fastest growing, and honestly, devastating financial traps operating right now. We're talking about Pinjol. Now, if you live in Indonesia, you've definitely seen the ads. You probably even know someone who uses them. But today we're going to look right under the hood of these digital lending apps. We are going to uncover the exact mechanics of how these loans work, how they're literally engineered to trap you, and most importantly, how to escape. And look, we're doing this with absolutely zero judgment. People fall into this because the system is perfectly designed to catch them. So let's get started.
So let me tell you about a guy named Adi. Adi is 24 years old. He works in Jakarta, earns a decent salary of 3.5 million rupiah a month, and he's not stupid, he's not lazy. 3 months ago, his phone screen cracked. He needed it for work, right? So he borrowed 1 million rupiah from a Pinjol app to fix it. Just 1 million. But today, his reality is terrifying. Adi now owes 4.7 million rupiah spread across 3 different apps. His family is getting harassing phone calls, his coworkers know about his debt, and every single morning he wakes up, that number's bigger. So how does a simple 1 million rupiah fix turn into a 4.7 million rupiah nightmare?
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand Adi's situation and protect ourselves, here is the roadmap we're going to follow today. First, we'll look at the Pinjol epidemic. Second, the math nobody shows you. Third, the privacy trap. Fourth, the golden rules. And finally, we'll wrap up with the 6-step escape plan.
Part 1. The Pinjol Epidemic.
Okay, so Pinjol is short for PinjamanOnline. It's digital lending that lets you borrow money in literally minutes. You just need a phone and a KTP, an ID card, and there is zero collateral, none. So why did it explode overnight? Well, think about the reality of Indonesia. Out of over 270 million people, a staggering 60% lack access to formal credit. 60%. Pinjol just stepped right into that massive void, and predatory lenders suddenly saw this completely unregulated market worth hundreds of trillions of rupiah.
But here is the genuinely terrifying reality of that market. As of 2024, the Financial Services Authority, the OJK, has registered over 100 legal Pinjol platforms. But analysts estimate that for every single legal platform out there, there are 2 to 3 illegal ones. 2 to 3 times as many. These illegal apps operate totally in the shadows, with absolutely zero oversight. There are no rules, no interest rate caps, and certainly no ethical collection practices. And because this industry isn't going anywhere anytime soon, we really need to understand exactly how it functions.
Part 2. The math nobody shows you.
Now, what's really interesting here is the actual numbers behind a standard 30-day Pinjol loan. Let's walk through the math. Say you ask to borrow 1 million rupiah. Right off the bat, before that money even hits your bank account, the platform takes an upfront admin fee of 15 to 25%. So you borrow 1 million, but you actually only receive about 800,000. Second, let's talk daily interest. Most platforms charge between 0.4 and 0.8% per day. If we take 0.6% on that 1 million, that is 6,000 rupiah every single day. Over 30 days, that adds up to 180,000 rupiah in pure interest. So at the end of the month, you owe 1,180,000 rupiah. And this brings us to an absolutely crucial point. Look at this number, negative 380,000 rupiah. Think about this for a second. You only received 800,000 in cash, but you are required to pay back 1,180,000. You are already 380,000 rupiah in the negative before you've made a single mistake, before you're even 1 minute late on your payment. The math is totally stacked against you from the exact second you click accept.
Now what happens if you can't pay on day 30? Well, that's when the late fees kick in, and they are brutal. We're talking sometimes 1 to 5% per day on top of your existing balance. By day 45, which is just 2 weeks late, your original 1 million rupiah loan has ballooned to somewhere between 1.6 and 1.9 million rupiah. It has nearly doubled. And what do most people do when they're faced with this impossible growing number? They panic. They open a second Pinjol app just to pay off the first one, and just like that, the spiral begins.
There is a harsh reality you need to understand here. This is not an accident. This is the business model. The platforms bank on your desperation. They anticipate those late fees. This isn't a glitch in their system. It is the core feature of their profit strategy.
Part 3. The privacy trap.
You see, when you casually hit I agree on these apps, the cost isn't just financial. It is deeply, deeply personal. Here's what you are actually handing over to them. First, access to your entire contact list. Your mother, your boss, your neighbors, your old school friends. Suddenly, every single relationship you have is leverage that the lender now holds over you.
Second, access to your personal photos and files. And third, real-time location data. They know exactly where you sleep and where you work. Now, while legal OJK platforms are restricted from abusing this data, millions of people use illegal platforms simply because they approve loans faster. And on those illegal platforms, there are absolutely zero protections. Which leads us directly to their documented, incredibly common harassment tactics. And I want to stress, this is common, not rare. We are talking about debt collectors calling your employer and trying to get you fired, sending incredibly embarrassing defamatory messages to your family members, even creating fake WhatsApp accounts posing as police or lawyers and threatening you with jail time. Guys, this is literal psychological warfare. It's perfectly designed to panic you into borrowing from another app just to make the shame stop.
Part 4. The Golden Rules. If you are going to navigate this landscape, you have to set some strict boundaries, non-negotiable rules. Here is your definitive never list. First, never use Pinjol for wants over needs. No shopping, no gadgets, no eating out. Because the final cost of that item is going to be 3 to 4 times higher than the actual price tag. Second, never borrow if you don't have a clear, guaranteed source of repayment. Just hoping you'll have the money is a recipe for disaster. Third, and this is massive, never ever use a second Pinjol to pay off a first one. That is the fatal mistake that destroyed Adi's finances. And finally, never use a platform that isn't actively registered on the official OJK website.
Now, to be entirely balanced, there is exactly one scenario, just one, where using a legal Pinjol might be acceptable. And it requires two things to be true at the exact same time. On the one hand, it must be a genuine emergency. Think an unexpected medical bill or a vehicle repair that you absolutely need to get to work. On the other hand, you must have a guaranteed repayment source. This means you know with 100% certainty that your salary is arriving within 14 days and it will easily cover the principal amount plus all those fees. If, and only if, both of these conditions are met, borrow the absolute minimum amount on a legal app, pay it off immediately, and then delete the app. Everything else, it's a trap.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Part 5, the 6-step escape plan.
Okay, so if you, like Adi, are already trapped in the spiral, take a breath. There is a way out. It requires immense discipline, but it absolutely works. Step 1. Stop borrowing immediately. Under no circumstances do you open any other app. The bleeding only stops when you stop cutting. Step 2. List every single debt clearly on paper. You cannot defeat an enemy you can't see, right? Step 3. Contact the authorities. Step 4. Negotiate with the legal platforms. Actually call them up and ask for a hardship restructuring. Trust me, they'd much rather have a delayed payment than a total default. Step 5. Find extra income immediately. Sell something, freelance, tutor, whatever it takes. And Step 6. Tell someone you trust. Debt thrives in isolation and shame. Breaking your silence is actually your most powerful weapon here.
Now, I really want to pause on Step 3 for a second. The OJK hotline is 157. If you are being harassed, shamed, or blackmailed by an illegal collector, report them immediately. You know, a lot of borrowers don't realize this, but illegal collectors actually have zero legal power over you. None. They use fear, because fear is literally their only tool. Do not let fake legal threats push you into making even worse financial decisions.
And regarding Step 5, finding that extra income, we need to bring some serious energy to this. Set a highly specific, achievable target for yourself. Try to find just 500,000 extra rupiah per week. If you're currently in debt, every single extra rupiah goes straight toward attacking the loan with the highest interest rate. Crush it. And if you are not in debt, use that 500,000 to start building an emergency fund, because having even a small emergency buffer removes the exact desperation that drives people to these predatory apps in the first place.
Ultimately, what we are really talking about here is building your green wealth. Green wealth isn't just about how much money you can make at your day job. It's about actively protecting yourself, protecting your data, and protecting your peace of mind from systems that are explicitly engineered to extract your wealth. Let's be real. These app companies are not your friends. They are businesses profiting directly from your most urgent, stressful moments. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Will you start building your emergency fund today to protect your green wealth? If you're currently stuck in the trap, will you take that critical first step and just stop borrowing today? And please, I want you to look at your contacts right now. Who in your life needs to hear this explainer? Share it with them. Honestly, it might just be the exact lifeline they need to escape the cycle and change their life. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and please, stay safe out there.